Hello, welcome or welcome back to Not Made. I'm Rachel, the creator of Not Made, and a bunch of random plushies and other crocheted items. Today is day 4 of the Crochet Advent Calendar by All From Jade, and we are going to jump into that. And while we're doing that, I'm going to be winding up this ball of chenille yarn that has pretty much collapsed on itself. I'm a center pull, and I don't know why. Maybe I should invest in one of those caking machines because I end up with yarn barf and then these skeins that just don't stay together well. So I'm going to try to roll this into a ball carefully so I don't make it mad and it will still be usable. And in the meantime, go ahead and check out today's make from the All From Jade calendar, day 4. So that was the Snowball Man from Crochet on Instagram. That's a great name. Love that. So that was day 4, and I've got some thoughts. Some having to do with this yarn. First of all, I've been using Posh yarn, as you may have noticed if you've been watching some of the other videos in this series, because for the main reason is it doesn't shed all over the place. I start to get really annoyed with the chenille yarn because there's just bits and pieces floating everywhere. Now, I love the finished product and the plushie is definitely plush. So there's that, but at some point I just get super annoyed. And I would say that because this pattern has so many color changes in a fairly short amount of time, that it compounds that, because then you'll have all these loose ends that are just shedding everywhere. So I think if I were to do it again, I would I would do the color changes a little bit differently, and I'll go into that in just a second. But then also, I don't think I would make the scarf out of the chenille yarn. I would use maybe like a complementing color in acrylic or maybe a posh, because you're just supposed to like weave in the ends and just have it tied around the little snowball. And one, it's not gonna stay. And two, those ends are just gonna be shedding all over forever, you know? So I don't know if you have a solution to the shedding problem when it comes to this chenille type yarn. And I'm pretty sure that this is chenille home slim that I was using, but I also was using Sweet Snuggles, which, I mean, they basically are the same thing. So they all have that problem, and you end up being covered in fuzz, and the plushie ends up being covered in fuzz also. But anyway, let's go into it. So here is our snowball man. I keep wanting to say snowman ball, and that's not quite right. He's a snowball man. So what I ended up doing with the scarf, yes, words, I can do this. I tacked it down in several places around the snowman just so that it didn't come undone, because like I just don't want that flying around loose, and it's not going to stay on. You know, you try to tie a string around a ball and it's just not going to work. So I went ahead and tacked it down. It didn't mention that in the coffee, didn't mention that in the pattern, but I just went ahead and took that liberty. The other thing that I would change if I made this guy again is you go back after the fact and you you attach the brim to the front loops that you left open. So as you're coming down, you work into a row of back loops only, and you leave the front loops open so that you can come back and add the brim. Again, with the color changing, that just adds more ends to be shedding everywhere. So I would go in and I would keep the black attached as I did the red, and then I would go ahead and crochet the brim first, and then I'd go in with the white and attach to the back loops after I had crocheted in the front loops, if that makes any sense. I've done this technique several times with different patterns, and I feel like it just takes a step out when I don't have to go back after the fact and go back into the loops that I left open, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. The other thing is I would do these buttons after as well. It has you crochet a single crochet in black for the little cold buttons, and I just don't like the way it looks with that little jagged edge. I'd go back through and I would do just like a little surface crochet, or just even just go through a couple of times with the black and a needle to make the buttons, because I think it would be cleaner. So that's just a personal note, but otherwise I feel like it's worked up well. I ended up having to use blanket yarn on the nose because that was the only orange that I had, but it's a very cute little snowball man, and I would definitely make this guy again with the changes that I mentioned in the pattern. The thing is, I started right when I woke up this morning to make sure I got this done, because today's a busy day. So black yarn and my old eyeballs do not coexist well. So I had to frog it a couple of times and figure out stitches and whatnot, and you know, it just is what it is. But overall, this is a very cute little make. I like him. I hope that she gets a lot of love on her pattern. And if you feel like doing it yourself, then, you know, go find it. It's a free pattern on Instagram, and it's linked directly in the advent calendar from All From Jade, or I'm sure you could find it on her Instagram page as well. So that's that, and I will see you tomorrow for day 5. Bye!